The knocking started on the 5th night, every 4 seconds, never faster, never slower. At first, we thought it was an animal. By sunrise, one of us wanted to answer it. The 5th day in the jungle, I started keeping a log. Not because anyone told me to. Not because I thought it would help us get out. I started it because I needed something to do with my hands in the dark hours before dawn. Something that required enough concentration to keep my mind from doing what it wanted to do, which was replay every sound the jungle had made since Rodriguez disappeared, and try to assign each one a source, a cause, a rational explanation that would let me sleep. I wrote in the margins of a paperback I'd been carrying since Saigon, a Western novel, the kind where everything is clean and brown, and nobody disappears without a body to show for it. I wrote small to save space. I wrote in the past tense, as if I were already out, as if the distance of grammar could substitute for the distance of miles. Day 1, ambush, 5 survivors. Rodriguez gone night 1, no trace. Day 2, girl in white, tree line pointing. Hayes knows something, won't say what. Day 3, graves, 20 or more, old. She was standing beside them. Mouthed a word, her name, I think. Carter different after. Day 4, Carter says she spoke to him in the night. Footsteps around camp, circular. All night. I stopped there and looked at what I had written and felt the particular vertigo of seeing your own fear laid out in someone else's handwriting. Neat, sequential, orderly, as if the things it described were the kind of things that could be made orderly by the act of writing them down. Then I wrote, Day 5, something is knocking, and put the book away. It had started the previous evening, just before full dark. And I want to be precise about this, because precision matters when you are trying to convince yourself that you are not going insane. It was not a random sound, not the creak of a branch or the knock of bamboo against bamboo in the wind. There was no wind. There had been no wind since we entered the jungle. The air sat on us like a weight. It was a deliberate sound, rhythmic, patient. A single knock against wood, repeated at intervals of approximately 4 seconds, coming from somewhere in the trees to the north of our camp. Knock, 4 seconds, knock, 4 seconds, knock. Like a heartbeat slowed down to half speed. Like something measuring time by a different clock than the one the rest of us were using. Hayes heard it first. I saw his head turn, that controlled, minimal movement he made when something registered. Not alarm, just attention, the rotation of a sensor toward a signal. Then I heard it. Then Carter, who had been sharpening a stick with his knife for no apparent reason, stopped moving. Even Briggs, who seemed to exist at a slight remove from whatever was happening to the rest of us, looked up from his hands. We sat there and listened to it for a long time. Animal, Hayes said finally. What animal knocks? Carter said. Woodpecker. Plenty of species in this country. At night. Hayes didn't answer that. He picked up his rifle and looked at it and set it back down, which was the closest thing to a nervous gesture I had ever seen him make. "Don't go looking for it," he said, to all of us, but I noticed he was looking at Carter when he said it. Carter smiled that small, private smile and went back to sharpening his stick. The knocking went on all night, not continuously. It stopped for stretches of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, once for what felt like an hour, long enough that I would start to believe it was over and begin to drift toward sleep. And then it would start again. Always the same rhythm, always from the same direction, always exactly 4 seconds between each knock, with a regularity that no animal and no wind could have maintained. By 3 in the morning, I had given up on sleep entirely. I sat against my tree with my knees pulled up and my notebook on my thighs, and I counted the knocks. I don't know why counting helped. It gave the thing a number, maybe. Made it finite. Made it something that could be tracked and therefore, in some distant theoretical way, understood. I counted 412 knocks before it stopped for the last time, just before dawn. In the silence after, I heard the footsteps again, slower than before, further out, moving in that same wide, patient circle around our perimeter, around and around. And I sat there and breathed and told myself it was an animal, and told myself it was the wind, and told myself every lie I could construct, and none of them held together for more than a few seconds before the truth came back through them, like water through a net. Whatever was walking out, there had once been Rodriguez. I didn't know how I knew that. I couldn't have explained it to anyone, but I knew it the way you know things in that state, between waking and sleeping, where the filters come down, and the parts of your mind that were designed for a much older world than the one you were born into start speaking clearly for once. I knew it the way I had known she was speaking her own name. Some knowledge doesn't come through the eyes or the ears. It comes from somewhere older than both. Carter announced at breakfast that he had found the source of the knocking. He said it the way you might announce the weather, casual, incidental, as if it were information he was passing along rather than something he'd been carrying all morning, waiting for the right moment to set down. Hayes looked at him for a long time without speaking. "When," he said, "last night, when Mercer was on watch around 2, he looked at me. You were counting, weren't you? I could hear you murmuring. I had been counting silently, or I had thought I was counting silently. I didn't go anywhere," I said. "I know, I went alone." He said it without defiance, without apology, the way you state a fact about geography. "I wanted to see." Carter Hayes's voice was very even. "I told you not to go looking for it. I know you did." He looked at Hayes with those fine, clear eyes that I had started to find more unsettling than any expression I could have named. "But Sergeant, we've been in this jungle for 5 days. Rodriguez is gone. We haven't found the river. Whatever is happening here, walking away from it hasn't been working." A pause. "Maybe walking toward it will." The jungle made its sounds around us. Birds, insects, the slow creak of an as trees, moving in air too still to be called a breeze. "What did you find?" I heard myself say. Haze shot me a look. I met it and held it, which was not something I made a habit of. After a moment, he looked away. Carter set down his canteen. "A tree," he said, "about 60 yards north. Older than the others, I think, though I couldn't tell you exactly why it looks older. It's bigger, the bark is different, and at the base of it," he paused, considering. "There are marks, cut into the bark, lines and shapes. I don't know what they are. I couldn't read them." Another pause, shorter, but she was there. The air shifted. I felt it, not a temperature change, not exactly, but a quality change. The way the light changes a fraction of a second before a cloud crosses the sun. "She was at the tree," I said, standing beside it, with her hand on the bark. He looked down at his own hand, turned it palm up. She wasn't pointing this time. She was just standing there, waiting, like she'd been waiting there for a long time and was very tired of it and was glad that someone had finally come. Briggs made a sound. The first sound I had heard him make in 4 days. Not a word, just a sound, short and compressed, and somewhere between a cough and a syllable. We all looked at him. His face was the same as always, closed, careful, a face doing a great deal of work behind a still surface. But his eyes were bright in a way I hadn't seen before. He looked at Carter. He nodded once. Hayes stood up. "Nobody goes to that tree," he said. "Nobody goes north. We break camp and we move south along the stream, and we find where it joins the river, and we get out of this jungle. Today." He looked at each of us in turn. "Are we clear?" Not a question. We knew better than to make it one. "Clear," I said. Carter said nothing, but he picked up his pack and he fell into line, and I told myself that was enough. We followed the stream south for 2 hours. It widened, which was encouraging. Wider meant more tributaries feeding it, meant we were moving in the right direction, meant the river Hayes had been promising us might actually exist. The jungle around the stream was different from the jungle away from it. Brighter, younger, the trees less massive, and the undergrowth less dense. Thin stripes of actual sky, visible through the canopy, if you tilted your head at the right angle. I started to believe we were going to make it out. That was when the knocking started again. Daytime this time, which was new. Coming from behind us, from the north, from the direction we had come from the direction of the tree Carter had described. Knock. 4 seconds. Knock. 4 seconds. The same rhythm, the same patience, the same quality of something that had all the time in the world and knew it. Hayes didn't stop walking. "Keep moving," he said, without turning around. I kept moving. Briggs kept moving. After about 50 yards, I realized Carter wasn't beside me anymore. I turned. He had stopped about 30 feet back, standing in the middle of the stream with water around his boots, facing north. Not running, not moving at all, just standing there, head slightly tilted, listening to the knocking with the expression of a man hearing a song he's been trying to remember for years. Carter, I kept my voice down. Carter, come on. He didn't look at me. You hear how regular it is. Carter, 4 seconds every time. Exactly 4. He turned to look at me then, and his eyes were fine, still fine. That was the thing that kept throwing me. His eyes were completely fine. That's not an animal, Mercer. That's not the wind. Something is doing that deliberately. Something is trying to tell us something. He looked back north. I think I know what. Hayes was back beside him before I had taken 2 steps. Not running. Hayes never ran unless there were bullets, but moving with a speed and purpose that covered ground in a way that surprised you every time. He put his hand on Carter's shoulder and turned him firmly, not roughly, the way you turn a person who has stopped seeing what's in front of them and needs to be reoriented. Walk, Hayes said. Carter looked at him. Something passed between them. I couldn't read it, couldn't tell what was being said in that silence. And then Carter nodded and started walking south again. The knocking followed us. Distant, but consistent. Patient as always. We walked, and it knocked, and the stream widened, and the sky opened up a little more above us. And I kept my eyes forward and my hands on my rifle, and counted my own footsteps instead of the knocks. It stopped, eventually. An hour south. It stopped as cleanly as it always stopped, like a switch, and the jungle sounds came back, and I exhaled for what felt like the first time in an hour. Hayes didn't say anything about it. Neither did I. Carter walked with his eyes forward and his face neutral, and I watched him and tried to decide what I was seeing. Someone who had pulled himself back from an edge, or someone who had simply decided to wait. I was afraid it was the second thing. We found a good campsite where the stream bent east around a wide, flat rock. High ground, clear sightlines. The stream itself forming a natural barrier on one side. Hayes seemed satisfied, which was the closest thing to optimism any of us had shown in days. He thought we'd reach the river by tomorrow afternoon. He thought we were going to be okay. I thought so too, for about an hour. Then Carter volunteered to take first watch, and Hayes said yes, because Carter hadn't given him a reason to say no. And I lay down and closed my eyes and tried to sleep. And at some point in the dark, I woke up to silence. Complete silence. Switched off silence. I sat up. Hayes was asleep, actually asleep, for the first time, his head against his pack and his breathing deep. And even, which was so unusual it frightened me more than anything else, Briggs was asleep. The fire was low, but still burning. Carter's post was empty. I was on my feet before the thought finished forming. I grabbed my rifle and went to the edge of the camp and looked north. And for a moment, I saw nothing. Just the dark and the trees and the stream glinting in what little light came through the canopy. Then I saw him, moving through the trees, 60 yards north, and moving fast. His silhouette unmistakable even in the dark. Walking with purpose. walking like a man who knows exactly where he's going. Walking north, toward the tree. I ran. I don't know why I didn't wake Hayes. Some instinct, some feeling that there wasn't time, that the distance was closing. And once Carter reached wherever he was going, the rules would change in ways I couldn't predict. I ran after him through the dark, through the roots and the undergrowth, and the jungle moved around me, and the dark was nearly total, and I ran by feel more than sight, following the sound of his footsteps. I caught him in a small hollow between two roots, maybe 40 yards from camp. I grabbed his arm, and he stopped and turned and looked at me. And in the darkness, his face was unreadable, but his breathing was fast, and his eyes were very bright. "She's at the tree," he said. "She needs us to come. Carter, listen to me. She's been waiting a long time, Mercer. A very long time." His voice was steady, reasonable, the voice of a man making a completely rational argument. Whatever happened to her, whatever happened to all of them in that clearing, somebody should know. Somebody should go and find out and know. He looked north. It should be us. Why us? Because we're here, simple, like it was obvious. Because we came. I held his arm and thought about Rodriguez walking in circles and Hayes saying the walking stopped on the fourth night, and the graves in the clearing and the marks cut into the bark of a tree older than everything around it. I thought about what Hayes had not said when I asked what lived in places like this. "Not tonight," I said. "Come back to camp. Tomorrow we reach the river and we get out, and then she won't wait that long." His voice changed on those words. Not much, but enough. A quality entering it that hadn't been there before. Something underneath the reasonableness. Something that had been learning Carter's voice and was still getting the pronunciation right. I tightened my grip on his arm. "Carter, look at me." He looked at me. "Whatever is talking to you," I said, "it is not her." A long moment. The jungle held its breath. Literally, the sounds dropped away. That switched-off silence falling over us like a cloth dropped over a cage. Then Carter blinked. The brightness in his eyes changed quality, dimmed, or rather shifted, like a light source moving behind frosted glass. He looked around at the dark trees as if seeing them for the first time, or for the first time in a while. "Mercer," he said, his own voice, clearly his own voice. "Why are we out here?" I exhaled. "Come on," I said, "let's go back." I walked him back to camp, with my hand on his arm the whole way. And the jungle sounds came back slowly behind us. And I didn't look back to see if anything was standing in the space we'd left behind. I already knew something was. Hayes was awake when we got back, sitting up, rifle in hand, watching us come in from the dark. He looked at Carter, then at me, then back at Carter. "Sit down," he said to Carter. "Quiet. The way you talk to someone you're trying not to startle." Carter sat. He looked confused and wrung out, the expression of someone surfacing from a very long dream. Hayes looked at me. I shook my head slightly, Not now, not in front of him. Hayes nodded. He settled back against his tree, rifle still in his hands, and looked out into the dark with that expression he wore, patient, watchful, already somewhere ahead of the moment, thinking about what came next. "Get some sleep," he said, to both of us. Carter was asleep in minutes. Whatever had been holding him up had let go, and without it, he dropped like a man who hadn't slept in days. Because he hadn't, not really, not in any way that counted. I lay on my back and stared at the canopy and listened. No footsteps tonight, no knocking, no crying. Just the jungle breathing slowly around us, in and out, patient and enormous and old, waiting the way it had always been waiting, since long before we arrived and long after we were gone. I thought about what Carter had said. Whatever happened to all of them in that clearing, somebody should know. And I thought, lying there in the dark, in the fifth night, with the river one day south of us, and something old and patient one day north, that he wasn't wrong, that there was a reason she kept appearing to me and not the others, that there was a reason the knocking had followed us when we walked away, not to lead us somewhere dangerous, to show us something true, the difference between those two things. I fell asleep, still trying to work it out, still turning it over, still not sure there was a difference at all.